Thank you. Well, Margaret, it's a pleasure to have you here today at the Exposing Diabetes. We get a wide range of people with diabetes and many different stories. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with diabetes? I understand it began in 1999. How did you first discover you had type 2 diabetes?
Well, how did I first discover it? I did have gestational diabetes with my last pregnancy in 1971, but didn't realise, nor was I told, that it was something I could expect to develop later on. And even though I had mentioned to the doctor that my great-grandmother and my grandmother had diabetes, in fact had died from diabetes, and logically I think back now, why didn't they connect the dots? I didn't connect the dots because I'm not medically trained. So the diabetes were part of my genetics really, but didn't surface until, frankly, in the 1990s. I was crashing around and collapsing, and in fact I was teaching over there at QUT, and if I had 2 teaching sessions in a row, I barely got through the second one before I'd be feeling myself spin. And again, I talked to the doctors. Nobody picked it up. Nobody even pricked my finger for a drop of blood. All it would have taken would have been a drop of blood.
Well, Margaret, this is a situation we're in today where we're encouraging people to go out and get HbA1c tests to understand their risk. How has it gone since that diagnosis? Do you think you've coped very well with type 2?
Oh, it's been a big change. It's been a huge change. But it was a reassuring diagnosis in one sense because I had a legitimate illness. The problem, particularly for middle-aged and older women back then, was the prejudice against a woman saying, look, I'm feeling giddy, I'm having blackouts, they insulted us, frankly.
Yeah. Well, it was like, you're like, oh, well, that's just what women do. Is that what they said?
Yes, that's it. You've hit it on one. Instead of saying, right, so let's try a diabetic test, or better still, a blood glucose, one of those 2-hour tests where you drink this awfully sweet mixture.
Yes.
None of that was suggested. And it wasn't until I was travelling in a bus along Waterworks Road at Ashgrove there, and I thought, oh my God, this is terrible pain in my chest. The left side, that's where the heart is. I think it's a very good thing to have. And the bus fortunately stopped outside a medical centre, so I got off and went in and I said, look, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I'm having terrible pains in my chest. Within an instant, I was whipped in to see this doctor who was a locum, and he said, put your hand out and prick my finger. And he said, I hope you didn't drive here. No, I came in the bus. Why? He said, well, you're 27.6. And being used to testing and exams and things, I said, oh my God, I failed the test. And he said, you're damn lucky to be alive, woman. So that was the beginning of, he said, you're actually diabetic. And I said, oh, thank you for telling me that, because I thought I was, going a bit loopy from what the other doctors said.
Now, you told me, you said you were your fourth generation, right? So what have you been telling, your kids? What have you been telling them? Have you warned them to expect diabetes later in life, possibly?
Well, I've warned them, but my eldest daughter, who is a lawyer, said to me, I don't want to hear anything more about your diabetes. And I said, it could be your diabetes too.
Well said.
So I've told you, I wasn't fully informed as a younger woman about my diabetic history. I'm trying to inform you, so it's up to you now to tell your doctor to get the checks, regular checks. So,
Now, everyone, I'm a person with type 1 diabetes, right? Now,
goodness me,
every person,
you're very brave.
Oh,
Well, type 1?
no, I personally think type 1 is nowhere near as difficult to deal with as type 2. I think type 2 is particularly difficult. I'm just wondering how you'd rate yourself as a manager of type 2 diabetes. How would you think you perform?
Well, at first it was very hard to change lifestyle. I do like dark chocolate, and I remember, I do it very much, did. And I thought, well, the only thing to do is, and I'm going to reverse diabetes, I said to the specialist, and he said, you can't do that. And I said, I'm going to try. And I remember saying to Jason, the young man who served me in Coles at Everton Park, I've got diabetes. If I come through with a chocolate and want to check that out, don't ring it up. You know, it's very hard to discipline myself to keep off the chocolate, but I did. But one day I succumbed because some lovely dark chocolate was on sale, and I thought, yes, I'll just break off one piece a day. That's how we fool ourselves. So I get to the checkout with my other groceries, and Jason looked at me as he picked up the chocolate. In those days I was sighted, and he said, Margaret, has your doctor changed your diet? I said, no, I'm trying to kid myself. So he said, I can't, you told me not to bring it up, I won't bring it up. So every time I want something that I know is on the no-no list, it's been a case of very strong self-discipline, because you know if you're going to eat something that's not good for you, you're likely to have a hypo. And my God, if you've had a hypo, you try never to have another one. That's the real issue.
So you're a person then who's on insulin.
I am now. I was on tablets for ages until...
Tell me about when you decided to go on to the insulin. Well, has that made a significant difference, improvement or whatever in your condition, do you think?
Well, the problem with being on the tablets, the metformin, was the damage it's done to my kidneys. I'm now CKD3, chronic kidney disease 3, and my doctor actually said to me, oh dear, I've kept you on the metformin too long. That is one of the outcomes of the tablet. But the tablet was keeping my levels at an appropriate level. But now I'm morning and evening insulin injections, and I'm about to be checked at Prince Charles by the diabetic clinic. I've already had one visit, and a number of others are proposed, because I'm not at the moment able to keep my blood glucose levels at an acceptable level. It's a bit worrying, really. And I'm on a very disciplined food plan, which I've managed with the dietitian. And
well, I think, like I said before, I'm a type 1 person, you're a type 2 person. We with type 1 tend to get used to insulin very, very quickly.
Yes.
And we don't, we sort of go, more insulin, whatever. Whereas type 2 people have a real barrier with insulin, it seems to me. All I would say is that, the movement from a long-acting insulin, like twice a day, that sort of thing, into more a short-acting insulin that you have at meals, is something that I do every day. And I think people tend to erect it as like a bogeyman. And I would just say to you, you know, if that's the sort of path that your specialist takes you down, that it's a good thing.
Oh, I don't think of insulin as a bogeyman.
Good.
No, if I have to have it, I have to have it. The bogeyman is actually having a hypo, so anything.
Tell me about it.
Which is freaky.
Yeah.
Well, you know. So if I'm having to inject, as I do now, morning and evening, I do the left side in the morning, the right side in the evening, 12 hours apart. If that's going to control the insulin, my health, and I don't have a hypo, it's a godsend to me. The only challenge is with the Lantus Solo Star, which is all ready and formulated for an injection, is now that I'm legally blind, is that the challenge of putting the needle on and getting the cap off and then measuring up.
Getting the correct dose?
Yes, because you don't muck around with insulin. I have to listen. The way the device is made, there's a very small aperture to read the numbers, which was small in my sighted days. Now that I've lost central vision as a consequence of macula, I'm
must
talking
be very challenging. Yeah.
Oh my
to
God!
find that little window through your peripheral vision.
I can't even see it. I can't see it. I have to listen. I turn the radio off, sit quietly, and just click, count around to the 24 units for the morning, 26 units for the evening, and hope and pray that I've got it right. Because
Margaret, that's a valid point. This is the kind of feedback that the manufacturers of those pens need to get, because there's a very large proportion.
I'm not the only legally blind person who's using a pen like that. No, it's a very big worry, and I've spoken, with colleagues at QUT in the design area and in the chemistry area, and said, I've taken the pen in and I've said, please,
to fix it.
You're the ones who got the influence. See if you can get this company to redesign the pen or make it audio effective, something that when it clicks around, it's telling me the numbers it's got to. But yeah, it's still. I just bought another number of packets at Cherry White Pharmacy, and they're all the same. The one advantage I have for pricking my fingers to take the blood sugar reading. When I was sighted, I had one. I could read it. I could read what number it got to. But now that I've lost my sight, the lovely young pharmacist at Terry White's Brookside actually got on the net and he found a device that is audio effective, so that when I put the little bit of blood strip reading material into the machine and then prick my finger and put the blood on it, it reads the number to me. And I get a number.
Yep.
So
that's a start.
Yes. So I can work out through the day where my blood sugar readings are.
But Margaret, what you've done is you've highlighted a very significant issue.
It's the Lantus Solo Star pen is unreadable for anyone with vision
Well, and
impairment.
not just, the pens generally are pretty similar, and whether you're having Lantus or whether you're having another type of insulin, the same kind of principle applies, and it's something that we'll be able to take up on behalf of you and behalf of others. Yes.
Well, it is a big issue, and I don't know where now. I'm glad you've spoken about this, because I don't know where to put my protests and concerns.
Well, that's precisely the role of Diabetes Queensland as an advocacy group for you and others. When issues like this come up, we need to be able to pursue it. We need to be able to write letters to the manufacturers and to the ministry and those sorts of people who can assist, and to keep the pressure on for change like that.
Yes, it must come. Change has got to come because it's needed. But if you can progress that, that'll be fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
That's a great interview.